Welcome everybody. I won't make this video short. I'm going to get to the point. Here the last couple weeks, month, whatever, I follow a lot of these crafting, leather crafting forums and stuff. People buying, selling, trading uh, stamps, 3D stamps, and tools and whatnot. And I've seen a lot of people that are got their stuff up for sale, and like one of them already got this set of Mastercraft, only used a couple times. Leather crafting is not for me. People selling, they sold their uh, cylinder arm machine and got a flatbed. Well, they've had the flatbed for a month or two, and they decide, well, no, I don't like it. I want to go back to cylinder arm. Or I think the last one I saw was somebody that had a Tippmann Boss, and they sold that and got a Sailrite, and like the ad said, only used about a month. They don't want to, that was the wrong machine for them. They want to go back to the Tippmann Boss. I kind of feel bad for them. And in some of these forums, somebody will get on there and they'll say, apparently, from the sounds of it, they're new, and they ask the question, you know, where where's the best place to get tools? Where's the best place to get this? What machine do you recommend? The list goes on. Well, as somebody that's been doing this a while, uh, I started out with basics, and most of us, you know, leather crafters that have been doing this for a while, we pretty much started out with little or nothing and worked our way up. Well, when we give advice to these people, yeah, we can afford to go buy Mastercraft. We can afford to go buy Weekend Craig Leather. Uh, we can afford the next step up from what I would call the entry level. But we got to remember, these people are just starting out. And if they decide that leather crafting is not their cup of tea, and they've spent, gone to we'll say Springfield, and they bought a starter set. Well, a starter set will run you about let's say it's nine. I think it's like nine crafting tools and a swivel knife. Set you back about $59-$60. All right, person decides, man, I don't think leather crafting is my cup of tea. So they put it up for sale. Well, when they put it up for sale, you get people that I'll give you $25 for it or whatever. So right there, they've already lost money, and because they want to recoup, they're going to lose money. So basically, where I'm going with this, as someone, as those of us that are established, we started this as a hobby or whatever, and we've worked our way up to a lucrative business. We need to kind of sort of be careful of what we tell people, because you know you know it's going to get them in trouble. So I don't want people being mad and saying, hey, this guy at Cowboy Leather said to go over here and buy, go to Weaver and buy these tools, or go to wherever and buy this tool or buy this leather. It's all stuff that there's cheaper stuff out there that we should say, okay, look, go to so and so and the get these tools. Well, if you take care of them, even a cheap tool is going to do the job. Yes, the more expensive ones like the Mastercraft, if we'll say a basket stamp, it's going to show a lot better uh, pattern. But you can get, as a beginner, you can get by with one that lays a pretty good compared to the one that lays a real good one. So, we we as established crafters kind of have to think for these people and trying to help them out because as we know, leather crafting is not a cheap thing to get into. You can spend thousands of dollars and still not have all your tools. So, I'm not harping. I'm just suggesting, you know, if we want to keep leather crafting alive and pass on this information that those of us that are experienced and established, we're all going to retire eventually. And hey, the people that have experienced and been in it a while, we've worked our way from the bottom to the top. And we got to look out for the people that are working from the bottom, want to come up to the top. So, with that said, now I'm going to address the people that are just starting into leather crafting. We all have to start somewhere. My suggestion, now, again, this is my suggestion, my opinion, and we all know what, they say about opinions. If you're going to get into this, before you buy your first tool, before you buy your first shoulder or hide or whatever, do your research. Spend some time finding where you're going to get your tools, the price of them tools, where you're going to get your leather, the price of the leather. Shop around. It's always good to shop around. Go into Tandy, Weaver, or someplace if you have a store close by you. Check out the prices. See what's out there. Just don't go get on the internet and go, oh, I like this, I like this, I like this. And when you get it, you have no clue how to use it or what you're going to use it for. But if you want to start this as a hobby, you don't need all the fancy tools. You don't need to go out and buy a brand new stitching machine. Some people can argue with me. There are some good used machines out there that, I've heard people say, well, I'd rather buy a brand spanking new machine. Now I know I got a guarantee with it. I got technical support. I've got this, I've got that. A lot of these machines are not wore out. I mean, some of the older ones, this one sitting behind me, that's a 1970 model. And they don't even make it anymore. And it's a good machine. I break a needle on it occasionally, but as far as inside components, mechanisms, it's just as good. I bought that one used. Basically every machine in this shop is used, except for my Juki back there. That was brand new. But if you want to start out, I suggest you do a lot of research before you do it. And the way you should do it is you should figure, okay, what do I want to make? Let's just say you want to make wallets. Well, you got to find out what thickness of leather you're going to use on them wallets. Sometimes, some it's too thin, some too thick. You got to find a happy medium. Then you got to figure out, okay, am I going to hand stitch them or am I going to machine stitch them? So then you got to go find a machine, find prices, you know get an idea what you want. If you're going to make wallets, yeah, you can get by with a flatbed. But I found through my own experience that, okay, I wanted a flatbed. Well, then I'm locked into just flat work, making wallets, making card holders, and stuff like that. So now you think, I want to make wallet or gun holsters. Now you need a whole different machine. You need a cylinder arm. Okay, so now you either sell your flatbed and stop making uh, your flat work, or if you're somewhat handy, you go ahead and you make a table for you get a cylinder arm machine, make a little plywood table or something like that so you can use it as a flatbed machine, slide the table off, and you can jump into making purses and handbags and gun holsters and anything with a little bit of bulk and a lot of sizes. But you can go back and forth. You don't need to have a cylinder arm, a flatbed, when you can do it with. I've done it for a long time with a cylinder arm machine. This is the second one I've had. But, figure out what you're going to make. Research it. Research where you're going to get your leather, where you're going to get your tools. Don't run out and buy, the fanciest tools right off the bat. You can use the cheaper ones, and as you move on and progress, you can always go for the next fancier tools. You can go from the Taiwan two timers to Mastercraft or whatever brands are out there. But the biggest thing I say, is research, research, research. Because if you research it and you go out, you find, finding you get your prices for your tools, your leather, everything that you need, and you go, oh my God, I've spent, I'm going to spend $3,000-4,000 before I even cut the first piece of leather. This is an expensive hobby, and it's an expensive business to get into. But you got to start someplace, and a lot of times you got tools at the house. You can start out with an X-Acto knife, a box cutter, a ruler, a number 2 pencil, and just some basic stuff, and you can make a lot. Some thread, 2 leather harness needles. You make a lot of stuff with that. And then when your hands get so crippled up and they start going like that, then you look into buying some kind of automated stitching. But if you're going to go get a sewing machine or a harness stitcher or whatever, I highly suggest getting something with a servo motor on it. Trust me, you will fall in love. You can turn that thing up to go to the races, or you can turn it down to a snail's pace. And I love them. They are the greatest thing since sliced bread. But again, if you're new, if you want to do this, come on. There's room. There's nothing out there. Leather has been around for 1,000 years, if not longer. There is nothing out there that has not been made over and over and over again. There is no brand new ideas. It's just how you make it, the little spin you put on it to make it your design, But there's nothing. I mean, I don't care who you are. You can watch YouTube videos all day long. None of us are coming up with a novel, new idea. They're not, it's not out there anymore. I mean, it's all been done. And I imagine if you look hard enough, you can probably find somebody that's covered a toilet seat cover with leather. So, like I say, but the biggest thing is please, if you're new and you want to get into this, do your research. Find out what you're doing, where you're doing it, and how you're going to do it, and what materials you're going to use, and where you're going to get your tools. Because there's nothing like having a pocket full of tools and go, okay, I've got the tools. I don't have any leather. Where do I get? Oh my God, where do I get leather? There's Weaver, Tandy, the list goes on. Everybody has a price. I'll tell you one that I've really never heard anybody mention, in these different forums and stuff like that. If you happen to live, within a couple miles or maybe an hour from the Amish or Mennonite that do leather work, stop in and check with them. I get pretty much all my leather from the Mennonites, and I can go in their warehouse. I can pick what I want, and really, they get theirs from auction, and it's the one I go to. The man gets his leather from tanneries that are going out of business. Some of it has got brands, some of it's got a scuff or scrape on it. But if you go and look at stuff from Tandy or Weaver, their stuff's got scuffs and scrapes on it too. I tell people I can get 2, maybe 3 sides of leather from the Mennonite people for what I pay for one side from your name brand distributors. Now again, yes, it's got a brand or it's got an imperfections in it. But when I started out, I was getting my leather from Tandy, and I would drive 3 hours to and from, pick up my own leather. That way I could look at it and make sure I got a good piece. And one time I couldn't go down and do it, so I called them up, talked to the manager. The manager said, "Yeah, no problem. I'll send you." I told him what I was doing. I said I need one with the best yield you can send me, because I told him what I was making. He said, "Yeah, no problem." About 2 days later, it came in UPS. I opened it up, and it looked like somebody shot it with a shotgun, and a bunch of angry rats chewed on it. Oh crap. Here I am with a piece of leather that basically useless, and the project that I needed it for had to be done for the customer in a week. And I had other stuff come in between shoe repair and leather repairs, so I had to stop, close the shop, and go and get a piece of leather. I took that back, and the manager said that should have been thrown in the garbage. But he handed the order off to some employee. The employee don't care. Get paid on Friday, so they sent out whatever they could get their little grubby mitts on. So, like I said, you figure, just, we'll say Tandy, they get $5 to $8, $6, $7. At $5 a square foot, a 25 square foot piece, it costs about $125, $130. I pay $60 for a side. So, you got to shop. But I'm not trying to rant or rave. I'm just giving the new people a heads up. It's fun. If you can do it and make some money, there may be a possibility that you don't have to work for anybody else but work for yourself. And trust me, it's a whole lot more fun working for yourself than it is working for somebody else. So, with that said, hope you got this far and didn't think I was just a raving lunatic, but like I said in the beginning, if you are an established leather crafter and you follow some of these forums, somebody asks a question, give them some guidance. Don't tell them to go buy the fancy new stuff, fancy stuff, because they just may not. Leathercraft is not for everybody. And if you're new and getting into leathercraft, by all means, please do your research before you make your purchases. It'll save yourself some money. And in the economy the way it's going right now, every dollar that you can make or every dollar that you can save keeps you one step away from the poorhouse. So, with that said, I'm going to go. It's almost time to close it up and have a good weekend. So if you like these videos, leave a comment. If you want to see more videos, hit the bell. It'll let you know when I'm having a brain movement. And again, this is Cowboy. Y'all have a good weekend. Stay safe. And we'll see you on the next go round. Bye now.